Okay, it's about ready to go live.
Okay.
So I'll be right back to you. Hi, Facebook people. Some of you come in late, some of you come in early. You just try to keep me guessing. Today on Comic Spot, I want to welcome you. I have a legend here for you. He wants me to just say that he's a televangelist and a ski instructor. And you know it's all downhill from there. Well, there he is right there. It's Frazer, Frazer, Frazer Smith. Yay! Hi, Frazer.
Yay. Hi, Linda.
So nice to see you.
Well, you too. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I got Sinbad over here saying hello to you.
I always love Sinbad.
Me too.
One of the great talents of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have come up with him when you were doing ski instructing. Did you ever catch him on the
Yeah, he
stuff?
took a lot of ski lessons from me. Yeah, many of the comics have. I'm the ski instructor to the comedians.
Yes, indeed. I want to know, where did you grow up? How did you grow up to be so incredibly outrageously funny?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I grew up in Detroit.
The Motor City.
Yeah, the Motor City. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Detroit is kind of a crazy place, and maybe that had something to do with it. I loved growing up there. I still love Detroit. It's a much put upon city and many jokes. The city itself affords a lot of jokes, most of which are true, and a lot of them are about the sports teams because they're pretty bad. So Detroit was a good proving ground for that kind of thing, and it's a nice city. Cold but nice.
Yes. So were you part of Motown? Were you in a group as like the token white person?
I was, yes. I was in Rare Earth. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It was the one white band in Motown. And, we had a couple of hits.
Who is your favorite Motown group?
Favorite Motown group? Well, I like Smokey a lot.
Yeah.
Smokey and the Miracles. And I like Mary Wells.
Yes. We just lost her.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was Mary Wilson from the Supremes.
Oh, okay.
That we lost. Mary Wells was another solo singer from Motown.
Oh, see,
I like them all. I like the Temptations and the Four Tops and Stevie Wonder, all of them. They're all great.
Yes, indeed. So did you ever work in a car factory in Detroit?
Yes, I did, actually. I built the K car. Remember the K car?
No.
Yeah, there was a car called the K car, and it quickly went under. It did not do well, and a lot of people blamed that on me. I didn't think that was fair because I only put in the windshields, but still, a lot of people blame me.
Where did you get your comedy chops?
Well, at a store. I got them at a Kroger store outside of Detroit in Wyandotte. They have a section, you chops, comedy chops. That's where I got them. I don't know. I guess people are kind of made to do comedy or born to do comedy.
Yes.
I think. Right? Maybe.
What catapults you into being, like, where does your comedy come from? Like, does it come from a lot of joy or a lot of meds or a lot of hurt? Where is it from?
A lot of meth. Mostly meth is what fuels my comedy. And if you're going to use fuel, meth is good because it really keeps you charged up. And that's where I get most of my ideas, when I'm cranked up on meth.
I agree. I saw you interviewing Robert Downey Jr. I thought you did a fantastic job of trying to corral his energy.
Oh, well, he's a wonderful guy. I have always been a fan of his. And he turned out to be a great guest because he was he played along very well.
He did.
And is very witty himself. He probably could have been a great comedian. He's
very
hilarious, and he is interesting and upbeat. And he was really into the interview, where I figured he was right at the time of the first Iron Man, and I thought, well, maybe he won't be so excited to be on my little show, but he showed up in a really good mood and was super cool.
He was. I noticed that. That endeared me to him, as if I wasn't smitten by him before that.
Right? Yeah, that's a special guy. He's a heck of an actor and really talented guy. And then he turns out to be a super cool guy too.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, he's cool.
So you grew up in Detroit and you had parents that were older like me. My parents were older than me. Were your parents older?
Actually, my parents were younger than me. And I don't really know how that happened. But I was actually older than my parents, which was weird growing up. I had to tell them what to do and give them rides to work and, stuff like that, make food for them, pay for their college tuition. I did all the stuff that a parent would normally do. Took up a lot of my time.
I know.
I was glad to do it.
Yes. Role reversal is good in some, you got to do it if you're older.
It can't, exactly. It can work for you.
How many siblings do you have?
I have two brothers.
Are they also younger than you?
They're younger than me, but older than my parents still. And they are, one is in Indianapolis. He's a doctor.
Wow. And
the other is in Florida, and works for NASA.
Oh my!
So I'm the dumb one.
My goodness! But your jokes are out of this world.
Well, that's because I pay my brother to, ship me some from outer space.
How many stations have you been on in your life? I looked at the list, and I think I crossed off most of the letters of the alphabet.
Yeah, thanks. It's pretty good, Linda. Thanks for rubbing it in. Well, they say you're not a good DJ unless you've been fired a lot. So I guess I'm a good one. I have been fired from, if it's got a K or a W in front of it, I've been fired from it. A lot. I've worked at a lot of stations. Most of the experiences were good. But I think that is true. That's true in radio. You do hop around a lot because, and a lot of times it's not your fault if you get fired. A lot of times they'll change the format on you, and you wind up, not fitting the new format or whatever. So it was funny in the Howard Stern movie, which I really liked that movie because it was something I could relate to. I think a lot of DJs could. And there was one thing where he was on a rock station and all of a sudden it changed to country and he had to be Hop Along Howie with his cowboy hat. He tried to, do his show on a country station. And that's what happens, a lot of times. So, but it's been a good ride. I think you learn from every experience. And so every different station was something I learned something new at.
How did you go from being Mr. Detroit, older than your parents, to being in every radio station and in movies like The Fisher King with Robin Williams? I mean, how's that happen?
Well, just like anybody, you at some point decide you're going to take a shot at it, at whatever it is you're doing. And I decided to come out to California. I was fortunate to get on K-Rock radio, and K-Rock radio at the time was really hot because they were playing all the new music. They were playing the new wave and punk music, and that was just kind of coming into fashion. This is at the end of the 80s. And my friend Rodney Bingenheimer, who you may know, was really a purveyor of new music. He knew all the new music. So he would tell us at the station, play this, play that. And we became sort of the maverick station that everybody started listening to. It's kind of like a viral thing before viral. And we broke all the new bands. I was lucky enough to break a couple pretty big bands. Van Halen is a band that I helped to break by playing. I was the first one to ever play them.
Wow.
They're not really a punk band, but they were a new band at that time, and many others that just it was just timing. And so I had a show that really caught on, and because my show caught on, I was able to get acting parts and stuff. Because in LA, if you're on the radio and you have a hot show, you have everybody listening, including all the casting people and producers, and so I was able to get shows, get acting parts from that.
That's
They would just say, okay, well, let's put him in this. I really hadn't had much acting experience. I'd done plays and stuff and in high school and college, but you learn on. I was able to learn a little bit on the run, and was fortunate to get the Fisher King. That was a real break for me. It was a great movie with Robin Williams, and also Jeff Bridges was in that movie, and it was just a terrific experience for me.
yes. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges, me too. Sea Hunt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You are
So,
also older
huh?
than my parents. We're both older than my parents. They were big Sea Hunt fans, though, and I watched that show a lot.
I did
And the
too.
Bridges family is super cool. He was a great guy. Robin Williams was a great guy.
Tell me,
Really a nice person.
can you tell me something that Robin did that touched your life?
Well, I just noticed that he was really nice to all the comedians. He would come to the club every once in a while when I was there, and he was just gracious to everybody, low key, humble, and so talented. To be that humble and be that talented was really amazing.
Yes. Did you ever
You know,
know what he did at USF Hospital for the Children?
no, I don't know about that, but I know he did a lot of nice charity things.
Yeah. He would go around and ask them what they wanted for Christmas. He would go buy it, he would wrap it, and he would deliver it every year.
See, what a classy dude. He was just a special performer and a special guy, and a rare talent. Also from Detroit.
He's from Detroit?
Robin. Yeah, originally, yeah.
I bet his
And
parents were older than him, though.
well, yeah, that was the one place I had a leg up on him. And the Fisher King movie I got because of Terry Gilliam from, he directed the movie, and he was in Monty Python, of course, and did Time Bandits and a lot of really cool movies. And I had him on my show, and he was promoting Time Bandits, and then he said, well, I'm going to put you in a movie. And that's kind of how I got that part.
That's so great. Oh my gosh. So let's see. You're in LA, you're getting picked up because of your radio shows, but you also, way back in the day, you hosted a show,
Rockin' Armenia. And we were only seen in Armenia. And it was which is a great country.
Rockin' Country.
It's a really nice country, Armenia. And I have a lot of fans there. No, it was called Rockin' America. It was on NBC. It was kind of in the post Saturday Night Live slot, which is like prime time. We were on at like 2 a.m.
Wow.
I was the host, and it was really a fun show. It was basically a video show, because
Yes.
video shows were big back then. That was like mid 80s. And I was the host. We would play videos, and then we would do little sketches and skits in between the videos.
Yeah.
And I worked with my friend Russ Parr. Russ was my sidekick, and Russ later became a rapper and a very talented disc jockey himself.
Was any relation to Jack Parr?
No, but he was older than Jack. And it's a recurring theme, Linda, but he was a really talented guy, and we had a lot of fun. What was fun about that show was it was on late at night, and so we could get away with a lot of stuff. And censor guy from NBC was from Standards and Practices, became our friend. He became my buddy. So we really pushed the envelope, and it was on so late, I don't think people really noticed. It was hated, and it was kind of ahead of its time. The problem was that we had a sponsorship. And back then, we had bought the producers had bought their way onto the network with a sponsor, and then that sponsor folded or left the show, and so we were stuck. And so we didn't really get canceled; it just kind of lost our sponsorship.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, that was
other than me, which is the obvious answer, who's the person who's interviewed you that you like the most?
that I liked the most. You know who I really liked was Steve Jones from the
Really?
Sex Pistols. I don't know if you know Jonesy. He was on a station called Indie, and then he went to KLOS where I was working,
Mhm.
and I just love that guy. He is hilariously funny, just a character, and I was a big fan of his band, the Sex Pistols. But he later became this radio host, and just a real character. I'm a big fan of his, and it was a lot of fun being on his show. But it wasn't as good as being on your show. I'll tell you that much.
It can't be.
You're still the best, Linda. And I know you were in the Sex Pistols too for a while, and you were excellent. You really helped him out. So I think he's number 2 on that list.
Yeah. So you've done movies, you've done radio. Oh, he left. I think.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I blame
Anyway,
Russia. I blame Russia.
it's probably Russia. Yeah, it usually is, right?
It always is. We never make mistakes here. It's got to be Russia.
No, it's always Russia. You know,
Yeah.
they've ruined everything. I worked in Russia for a lot of years. I did a lot of comedy in Russia.
Really?
And they didn't really know what I was talking about most of the time. But I think I broke a lot of ground there, and had some amazing sets in Moscow and St. Petersburg and all around Russia. I became quite popular with the Russians, and I remember Putin coming and actually heckling me. I let it go because
he wanted to put in his 2 cents worth.
Did try to do that, yeah. Yeah, and I just let him do it because who wants to get, a world leader?
Yeah. We're just gonna. Something seems with the internet connection. He'll be back. He just left a second ago. Here he comes back. Is Frazer coming back? Come on.
Disappeared on.
Oh. I've been here. You left and came back.
Oh, okay. Well, here I am. I was in Moscow for a second there.
It doesn't show your picture.
My picture doesn't show. No, I don't have it on there. I'm very low tech.
You had it there a minute ago. What happened?
Oh, I did. Oh, okay. Well, there I am. Yeah.
Here we go.
There we go.
What's your favorite thing that you've done in your career, or a couple favorites that really you said?
Favorite things? Gosh, well, I thought, one thing for me was exciting was what I mentioned earlier about breaking Van Halen, because I thought that was a big deal. And how that happened was an interesting story, because I was doing my show on Friday nights on K-Rock, and this guy would climb up the fire escape and climb in through the window. They were in a small little building because they were waiting for their studios to be rebuilt. And so it was only 2 stories. And so this guy would climb in every week and kick in the door, and he'd go, "Man, you got to play my test pressing, bro." So it was David Lee Roth, turns out. And I finally played his test pressing just to get him off my back. and the phones lit up like crazy, and it was a big hit. The song I played was Ain't Talking About Love off the first Van Halen album. And, you know, I think I kind of helped them get started that way. That was a thrill for me. The other things, I think, you know, opening for Alice Cooper last summer at the Greek Theater was really fun. You know, he's always been a friend of mine and a hero to me because he's from Detroit too, and I'm a big fan. And so to be able to open for him was really exciting. And you know, and just the many of the different comics that I've had a chance to work with. I've worked with a lot of the biggest comics, you know, in the world, and from time to time, it's always a thrill to work for them. You know, opening up for them usually is what I wind up doing, and you know, just really always exciting to get to do that.
Yes. You want to drop any names of the comic?
Well, I mean, I've worked with them, most of them, you know, over the years, but some of my favorites were George Lopez. I love George. I got to open for George, and I got to open for Russell Peters in Canada. That was really fun. You know, a lot of my relatives live in Canada, and they're all younger than me, but they're up there, and you know, it was really exciting. We played across the country and played in all the big cities in Canada. He plays big theaters, and we sold them all out. And I did, but that was really a thrill. And he's a terrific guy. You know, a person that everybody likes.
Wow. Yeah, I've watched his comedy, and I can't get a feel from watching his comedy what he's like off stage. So that's good to know.
Oh, he's one of these guys that is so pleasant off stage. He's just cool with everybody. And we would have to, when we would go to a gig, we'd be driving to the show, and he'd say stop, and he'd go out and talk to homeless people and give them money and talk to them, and we would have to drag him away. We go, come on, the show's, we got to get to the show. He's just very gracious with everybody, and it taught me a lot about how to just to deal with people. Yeah, a special kind of dude.
So
you know, but
you go ahead. You go ahead. It's your show.
Oh, it's my show?
Yeah.
Well, Linda, no, well, Cook's Rock, you know, Dave Chappelle.
The audio is messed up right now, Frazer.
Is it? Hold on.
Yeah, it's getting kind of
there.
I'm here. It's kind of wobbly.
Let me see if hold on a second.
Okay.
Really? I don't know what I'm not doing anything differently, I don't think. I'm sorry to do this to your show.
That's okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, right now it's perfect.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'll just try to hold still. Yeah, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of the top comics and a lot of the up and coming comics too. And I was able to have a lot of those comics on my radio show before they were stars. And I remember having Sam Kinison on my show before anybody knew who he was, and Dice, who I've always been friendly with, who's a great comedian, and Lopez. George was on my show a lot before anybody knew him. It just afforded me a chance having that show to have those people on my show.
You know what people say about the Dice? They say that the girls that have traveled and opened for him say that he treats them so wonderfully.
Well, his character comes off as such a misogynist and everything, but Dice isn't like that. He's really a gentleman and a very nice person, and good dad. I know his family. He's got a great family, and he is a pleasant guy to be around. You know, he's Dice, but he's really a cool dude, and is nice to women.
That's so great to hear.
Uh,
What's the big
and he likes women comedians. He also pushes women comedians too. Uh, and Eleanor Kerrigan, you know Eleanor, right?
I
You know
love
Eleanor?
Ellen. I met her in Portland at Harvey's.
Yes, she's an amazing comedian, and he has always pushed her and had her open for him for years, and she, because of that, has just turned into a monster comedian.
She is a monster. And Christy
Yeah,
Miller has worked with him too.
Christy's another one
Mhm.
who's super talented and an old friend of Dice's, and she's opened up for Dice for many years too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have nothing but nice things to say about working with Dice.
Yeah, he's a different guy than you might expect from his character. And I've always loved him. He did my show early, and Kinnison did my show early, and Kinnison was an amazing comedian, you know.
Mhm.
And it was just interesting, all these comics before they got big,
Yeah.
you know,
So
Jim
what's
Carrey
this
and all those guys.
what's the secret, Fraser, to being so big like you are and staying so nice?
I don't know how big I am, but I think what for anybody is just realizing that we're kind of on the same boat. You know, the one thing about the pandemic, which has been awful for everybody, this pandemic, but it does sort of level the playing field. You kind of see that we're all the same, you know. Right now, we're all stuck inside, you know, for almost a year. We're all scrambling for toilet paper at the same time. We're all, you know, all the stuff that shows you that we're all human and we're all sort of in the same boat. And I think that that's you know, a lesson that maybe you learn something from the darn pandemic. And you know, as bad as it was, you kind of learn that hey, we all need each other, and we're all kind of the same. And you know what? You never really get anywhere being a jerk.
Never.
You don't. I mean, you know, I've tried it, believe me, and quite a bit, and it hasn't worked at all. So I had to go back to being nice, Linda, which is very annoying to me, but I had no choice.
Well, it's so hard when you had so much responsibility taking care of your younger parents.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope they were able to learn from me. You know, but yeah, no, I just think it's something that I think you do get that from your parents, really.
I
think
do
is,
too.
you know, I have good parents, and even though they were younger, they were very cool and were gracious to people. So I think, you know, you're taught that, and you kind of also pick up manners, it's polite to people, uh, you know, and when you treat people well, and good things happen.
Absolutely. You want to rack up all them karma points.
There you go.
You never know when you need to cash them in.
And you're gonna, believe me, you will need them
Oh,
in
yeah.
this world, you know. And in the comedy business, it's like any business, relationships are really the key. You know, it's one thing to be, you know, funny, or as a musician to be a good musician or singer or whatever, but you need to move forward. You kind of have to have relationships, because you have to have them. That's how you get mobility. Is you know, that you meet, that you get to work with. You know, most people start like opening for people. Started that way. They opened up for people. They got to meet other people way, and that's move up. You have to be gracious. I think it's important to use it as a business skill as well as a personal skill.
Yes. So, where can people follow you, and where can people help you out by, I don't know if you sell merchandise or you have a website you want traffic on, or where can people help
You
you?
know, I don't have any website. I don't have. I don't do anything. You know. I want to follow once they open back.
What's that?
Eventually, I'm at all of the comedy clubs in LA,
Okay.
once they open back up. You know, I'm at the Comedy Store regularly, in the Laugh Factory and the Ice House and Comedy and Magic Club and the Improv, and, you know, I'm fortunate, and the Ha Ha and all the cool clubs in town. I've been fortunate enough to be able to play for many years, so they can see me there.
Okay.
And you know, that's the other reason I really don't do a lot of internet stuff, is that I'm basically a one-liner comedian. So I don't want to give away my jokes on the internet. People always, "You're a good joke writer. Jokes up on you know, on your web page." I guess I do a page. I just never go there. But I never put up, because I wanted to be fresh to the audience when they come to the club. So yeah, and then wanted radio on KLOS. Once this is over, this thing, once it's come a little, we'll be back on KLOS, hopefully. You know, the 95.5 on the radio. You can also check out my hockey podcast. It's called Puckoff.
It's called what?
It's called Puckoff. Puckoff.
I love it.
And yeah, it's really fun. I'm a hockey fan, and I work with the great Joe Bartnick and Andy Baccaro. I don't know if you know Andy and Joe. They are both really talented comedians. Joe opened up for Bill Burr, the great Bill Burr, and he's a great comic himself, and so is Andy Baccaro. And we had this hockey podcast that's become really popular.
Wow.
Because the hockey world is kind of a small world. You know, it's a niche audience, and we're able to really make inroads there.
That's wonderful. I'll put this on the post so that people will start.
And of course, there's also my ski instructing. If you want to learn how to ski, contact me. I am a televangelist. And you know, usually a lot of people contact me that way, just, you know, for a good word or a message.
No joke?
No jokes. When I'm televangelizing, I don't do jokes. Unlike Joel Osteen, who does.
He's got the best dad jokes in the business.
Who, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. How did you get into comedy?
Well, I always made people laugh, and I was afraid to get on stage because I was hit by a drunk driver in '96, and I had brain trauma.
Oh my God.
So when I became an empty nester, my daughter was raised. I wanted to do comedy, but I was scared to. So I sent my jokes to Wendy Liebman, because
a favorite of mine.
And she said, "No, you got to get on stage. This is too good." And so I'm only going on stage. I only went on stage initially because she believed in me. I didn't believe in my ability. And the first 6 years, I was looking at notes the whole time I was telling jokes. And then something happened last year, and now I'm able to tell my jokes and remember them.
Good for you. Oh, good for you. Well, that's great. Well, you look like you're doing fine now. You don't have any, you seem very sharp. And Wendy Liebman is just a amazing person, isn't she?
Isn't she special?
She's one of the best comedians, I think, ever. She's got the best lines and such a great writer, and delivery is just excellent, and a good person too. And she had a car incident recently too, so she's doing a lot better though. It's great to see that. And that is a very talented comedian, and she's encouraging to other people too.
Isn't that nice? Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I believe her. She's so gracious.
Yeah, she really is. And that's another lesson, and that's how you should be.
Yes.
She's also very successful.
Very. She's a legend like you.
Well, I don't know if I'm on that level, but she's pretty special.
Yes, she is special. You know, she has a way of, people remember her. She's like America's sweetheart.
Everyone loves her. And I loved her on America's Got Talent. You know, she did all those Tonight shows, which were great, and Letterman and everything. But when, you know, her career, she did the America's Got Talent. And I remember Howard Stern just flipped over her. And so did all the judges. They all flipped over her. And so did the audience. She was just so clever. You really can't really do more better than that in terms of coming up with great material.
Yes. I love the way she thinks. I always, every day I look at her Twitter to see what she's writing, you know. She's
Well,
like
that's what we can learn from.
yeah.
You know, her jokes are very sneaky too. You know, they
Yes.
sneak up on you. She'll, you know, kind of take you one way, and then it's a left turn with the punchline,
Yes.
which shows an ability to write, you know, clever stuff.
Yes. She's very well trained in writing. She comes from a great school and a lot of great comedy writing friends. And well, you know the drill.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you.
Yeah. Well, writing's so important to your comedy. I mean, that's really where it all starts. And it's probably the part that most comics like the least, you know, in terms, because it's actual work. You know, we're pretty lazy, I think, by nature. And that's probably why we went into this. You know, at most you're working an hour a night, you know. So we, you know, and so it's kind of hard part of the job,
Yeah.
because you have to really sit down, you know, and write. And you know how that is. Some days you feel like it, and some days you don't. And I remember reading a thing, you know, I said I liked Smokey Robinson earlier. Remember reading, someone had interviewed him and asked him about, you know, being why he was so good. And he said, well, you know, he said, I'm a professional, so I had to write. I didn't write just to, you know, I didn't write just on my good days, write on bad days too, because I needed to make it. And I needed to make money for my family. And so he said, you know, I had to be able to write on days when I didn't want to write, and come up with stuff. And that's what he said made him a professional. And I think it's probably true. You know, it's a job, it is a job. And, you know, we're lucky we're in a job that's fun. So sometimes you think of it as just fun and games, but really, if you're going to be in it for any length of time, I think you have to get that part of it down. And all the good comics are good writers.
That's right. Yeah. Enough with the dick jokes.
Yeah, the dick jokes are really actually my favorite thing about comedy, and I have millions of them. You know, they're probably the most fun to write, the dick jokes. There's a one point where every single joke I had was a dick joke. So I've got to move on from this. So eventually I did. Now all but two are dick jokes, my jokes.
Oh my gosh. What's the craziest thing you ever experienced in your whole entire public life?
Public life? Well, I don't know. I had a couple of interesting experiences, let's put it that way. I'll just tell you one that comes to mind is I was working with Gallagher, the great Gallagher. And Gallagher was shooting his Showtime special. And I love Gallagher. We're old friends. And he was really hot. People forget how really hot he was. And he wasn't just a prop guy. He was a really good stand-up comedian. And props or not. But we were doing a show at the Palace Theater in Hollywood, the old legendary Palace Theater, where they shot so many TV shows. You know, it's where the old Dean Martin show was shot, and many other famous shows. But we were doing a special there, and I remember Elvira was on the part of it too, who was an amazing performer and an old friend. And anyway, we're doing the show, and it's packed, and he's killing. And then he came out, did a costume change in a pink tutu with a seltzer bottle, spraying the crowd with a seltzer bottle. So people started spraying him back with squirt guns and stuff, and he got mad and the whole crowd to leave. He went off on the crowd and he told them to leave, and he's in the middle of shooting a Showtime special. And so the crowd looked at each other. They thought he was kidding, and finally he started screaming at them, and they all left. So he came backstage and he goes, "Hey, Frazer, did you see that? I got rid of those guys. And I go, well, what are we going to do now? We don't have a crowd. So they had to send the PAs down to Hollywood Boulevard with the bullhorns and say, hey, you get a free drink if you come to the palace right now. So it's like Dawn of the Dead. All these people were coming from Hollywood Boulevard to the show, and it's just a craziness that wound up in the for the rest of the show.
Wow.
I always remember that moment because he was actually proud for a second that he had gotten rid of him. Then he realized, wait a minute, now I don't have a crowd. So
Oh my God.
that was one thing I remember.
Well, since we're near the end here, what's a parting thought that you have for people that are going to watch comedy, or a parting thought for people who are doing comedy? What would you like to impart?
Well, I just think to realize whether you're performing it or whether you're just there to enjoy it, that it's an important part of life. Because especially now, with all the turmoil and trouble we've been through, it's just been rough on everybody, right? The pandemic and everything has just been tough. So, appreciate one of the joys of life. One of the joys of life is laughter. And it says, I think it says in the Bible that it makes you actually live longer to laugh, and it's a thing that I sometimes we forget because it becomes kind of like a job. You're kind of grinding it out on this show, that show. But performing it, you have to keep that in mind too. You have to keep in mind you're really providing a service as well as, making a living. The service you're providing is bringing joy and fun to people's lives. And I don't think we've ever needed it more than now, or certainly not in a long time. It's really something that the country needs, the world needs right now. So appreciate that when you go out to see comedy, and also when you're performing your comedy, realize that you are providing a much needed service. So show up in a good mood, show up in a joyful attitude, and write those dick jokes. And, and people will hopefully appreciate them.
Thank you so much. I'll go add the places where people can catch you onto this post. And I thank you so much for letting me interview you. Anytime you want to come back and plug anything you're doing, or have me interview any one of your friends, even if they are like the carpet guy over at the 7-Eleven, I'll interview anybody you send me.
Well, it's very sweet of you. And I was going to ask you about the carpet guy, because he is a friend, and he did mention to me, is there any way you can get me on Linda's show? And so now I'll tell him that he's more than welcome.
Can you tell I've been studying Jiminy Glick tapes?
Yes, I can. Jiminy Glick is also awesome. Don't you love Martin Short?
I love Martin Short.
Yeah, one of the funniest people ever.
So hysterical.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'll tell the carpet guy, and
okay.
we'll, I'm sure you'll be hearing from him.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Linda. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Bye.
All right, you too. See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.